Hey everyone, it's Jessica from Well Magic. Today I'm going to run you through how I plan our trips for our family of six. I use a simple spreadsheet and I use the tools that I provide for you in my Magic Planning Guide shop. This video is going to take about 15 minutes, but I will show you how in 15 minutes I can essentially have a complete outline done for my entire Disney vacation. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'm about to show you how to plan a Disney vacation in 15 minutes. So this is what I call my Well Magic planner worksheet. You can see at the top there's a spot for your family vacation name. So I'm going to go ahead and change this. I'm actually going to be planning a real vacation during this video. Then on the left side, you can see day of the week, date, highest, lowest crowd, the 60-day window, which is automatically calculated for you. And then I have a lot of options on the sides. You also can see I can move the spreadsheet up and down and left and right, and the columns stay in place, helping you plan. On the other sheets, you'll see that I have a Genie planning sheet and then also a little packing list to help you with items that you need in your park bag. So I know this trip is going to be from Sunday to Saturday, so I'm going to fill that in and I'm going to place my starting date, which will automatically calculate my 60-day window. I will slide the tab across so that it can pre-fill all the information in terms of dates and weekdays. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the crowd calendar information. So Undercover Tourist is a trusted site that I have used for well over a decade. So it's definitely a full circle moment that I create content for them now too. They have one of the best crowd calendars because it truly breaks it down by park. They cover every park in Orlando, but you will see here that I am just going to click the parks that are important to me. And then at the top, they even have a legend of showing you like what they believe is a suggested park day that you should go to, and then parks that are highest level that day. And this is all based on 20 years of selling tickets. So this isn't just oh, they go to the parks and they see what days are more crowded or what Disney tells them. They are actually selling tickets through their site daily, so they can see the heavier days. So once I scroll down to my week, I am going to look at what they're suggesting that is going to be the highest and the lowest days. If they have two low days, I'll look at my calendar to see maybe what the day before or the day after was going to be the lowest day to make sure that I am getting a good spread of all the different parks in my calendar. Of course, the most critical one is always knowing what is the highest day. So I take this information and then I fill it in on my spreadsheet for every single day, and that's how I will start building which parks we should go to on which day. And that also eliminates decision paralysis because you don't need to think about it because you're going based off the data and the chances of having the lowest crowds. So at this point, I have all of the parks filled in, and I'm going to start filling in my days. We did get the Disney dining plan, which comes back on January 9th, and we did the highest of the two. So we have one snack, one quick service, one table service. So I will start putting in the different restaurants and things we're going to do for each day. This also helps me with my 60-day planning, so I know what restaurants I need to go after. So as I fill in the spreadsheet, I'm going to stick in my VIP tour here, and I put Dash Epcot because we are planning on going to 3 different parks here. We're going to start at Hollywood Studios, end at Magic Kingdom for fireworks. VIP tours are a minimum of 7 hours per day. So we are going to have breakfast at the resort because we will start later in the day because we want to be there for happily ever after. Also going to put in some suggested areas that we want to eat that are quick service. I don't want to spend any time of this tour sitting down, so I want to make sure we maximize that time by sticking to quick service. Even though your Disney meal plan allots you one quick service a day, you basically get a bucket of meals. So we can use two of our quick services that day, and we may not use a table service, and we could do two table services another day. So when you get your Disney dining plan, just know at the beginning of your trip, it's almost like a bucket, letting you know you have seven of each things depending on how many days that you're staying there. So after the VIP tour, because it's going to be such a late night, we are going to have a rest day. We also are doing some fun activities that are around the resort, but we will need to sleep in and rest because that VIP tour day will be a late night because I'm sure we will close down Magic Kingdom afterwards. On a rest day, I always like to have a table service meal. We are going to plan to go to Trattoria Al Fornaio because I want to experience the boardwalk in the evening with the kids. So we are going to know we need to schedule that. And then I definitely want to take the kids over to Scat Cat since we'll be staying at Disney's Port Orleans, and so we can get some of those beignets. So this is me just continually filling out different notes of areas that I want to eat or experience with the kids, and I will fill this in. And again, it doesn't have to be completed in one go. I'll definitely come back to the spreadsheet over and over again and refine it as we get closer to the trip, but at least this gives me the overview I need when I am planning my vacation. So, Animal Kingdom is going to be one of our first main days. So, I'm filling that in, and you can see that I'm not just going in sequential order because I may need to move things around. And it looks like I finally have like the best sequence that works for us. The Blizzard Beach day is a lighter day. Then we have a really intense day with Animal Kingdom, intense VIP tour, rest, and then our last day. So each of these sections have drop downs that you can fill out, and I have thought of everything for you. And I'm hoping what this will do is if you don't know that there's this many modes of transportation, you will take the time to be like, okay, I'm staying at Port Orleans or I'm staying at the Riviera Resort. What transportation options are available to me? Because you may not have been aware that there are that many different kinds of transportation. Then I fill in my meal section. Again, Tusker House is a character meal, so I will have to book that at my 60 day. I put in other suggestions. And again, you have to be flexible with your Disney vacation, but I like to have an idea of different things I want to try. We love Pongu Pongu because they have boba over there, and Tamu Tamu has boozy Dole Whip. So those are two stops we always like to make. Then we get to the Genie Plus section, and this is where you actually start planning out the rides for the day. This will help you when you go over to the Genie Plus tab, especially if you're someone who is nervous about booking rides or knowing what to do. Again, I my number one selling item is my Genie Plus manual. It is very detailed with lots of pictures, so you feel less overwhelmed when you're actually doing it in the moment. And as long as you go with an overview or a plan and you're flexible, you're going to be fine. But there is strategy involved at Walt Disney World. There's a little strategy at Disneyland, but it works very differently there. But at Walt Disney World, you do have to go in with a plan or you won't be able to execute Genie Plus as well as other areas. Now, while I was making this video, I did end up making some updates to the spreadsheet you will see at the end because, again, my goal is to make this as functional for you as possible. So I'm going to continue filling out this sheet. We are going to go in fast mode so you can see me finish out putting my notes. And again, I will come back and put in more outfit planning, different notes that I need to know for each day as I'm filling out this spreadsheet. So before we move on, I'm just going to start filling in little pieces of my spreadsheet, and then we are going to go to the Genie Plus tab and start planning our day at Magic Kingdom. For this, I'm actually going to do like a different day than we're actually going to do because I want to give you a realistic example. On my website, you're able to get access to Genie webinars and also my complete guide to Genie Plus, which you can see as I scroll down all of those pictures that really help you out with things, even like stacking. I explain it very thoroughly. But then there's a section that is just the mini guides for each park. I even have Disneyland and California Adventure included in this. So this is the most important page when you're planning your Genie rides because you need to know when they sell out. Sell out means when they're no longer available anymore, just meaning that everyone has booked all the slots for that day. So if you have any in that priority box, you really want to make sure those are going to be the first rides you book so you don't miss them. Genie guarantees 2 to 3 more rides a day. I just know from personal experience and from using it frequently, you can book more. I don't want to guarantee it in case you don't follow my instructions, but if you follow my instructions, you easily will book all of these and more. We have booked up to 16 rides on a crazy day using Genie Plus. I don't recommend being that busy, but it was fun for one day. Then as I go through and fill in my Genie Plus, I also want to put in filler activities and non ride activities. Your filler activities are going to be things like going to get pixie dust at Sir Mickey's by the castle, or getting on the carousel, a ride that's not on Genie Plus or Astro Orbiter or People Mover. And then non rides are going to be things like Hall of Presidents, Festival of the Fantasy Parade, and Happily Ever After. This just kind of gives you an overview of what rides and activities you want to accomplish while at Magic Kingdom. There are over like 50 attractions and rides. You're not going to do all of them, but this is a really solid day of activities. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the location of where each of these items are located because it's important when you're planning. The number one thing I do not want to do is run all over a park. These parks are very large. It adds to your steps that are counted for today. On average, you're going to be walking 6 to 10 miles anyway, so let's not zigzag all over the park. This will help in planning in terms of what you need to book first. Then I have a tab for you to put out sellout order. Then I have this tab called batch. You will understand that if you take my standby skipper course or if you use standby skipper. So I put the sellout on here because you need to know when you're going to lose the opportunity to possibly book it. Batching is something I do with Standby Skipper. And the batching for me is when I enter information into Standby Skipper. Typically, I do 3 batches a day, and then if we just had a rock star day, we do a fourth batch of random rides. And with batching, this is when strategy is really involved for me because, again, I don't want to run all over the place. While I was making this, I realized that I needed 2 more columns. I needed time and I needed a notes column because things like Space Mountain, I'll put on here, but I am going to rope drop that in early entry hours. And things like Astro Orbiter, I can rope drop that because I'm going to stay in Tomorrowland. So as you see me putting in the batches, you can see like I've batch 1, batch 2, batch 3. And just because something is in batch 2 doesn't mean that I want to book it in the morning. You can see Peter Pan's flight I have for the evening, but because I know it sells out in the morning, I know I need to put that in batch 2 so that way it can catch that evening time before it sells out. Then you see me putting notes here for like Dumbo. There's a play area there. I don't necessarily need to use Genie Plus for it because the kids love playing in that play area. So you will see this updated spreadsheet at the end of this, but this is why I wanted to go through this in full detail so I could catch these things that also would help you as someone who doesn't go to Disney as often as I do. And ta-da, here is your new updated form with the notes in the time column so that it can make it easier for you to put some notes in there. So now I'm going to tell you about different things that I have at my shop that you can use. So of course you have the full family spreadsheet. I've also updated there to include the Genie Plus and filler activities that were not on there before. I take this information and if I'm going with people who haven't been before, I put it in my daily plan sheet. That way they have a snapshot of each day. They don't need to see this spreadsheet, it might overwhelm them. But I plug in all the information in here and I text a picture copy for each person and send it to them. Or I print out all the sheets and then they get them when we arrive at Walt Disney World. Here is a sample of one that's completely filled out. If you are in my Magic Made Easy community, I will actually help you build this. So this is for someone who went on a trip in March. I helped them fill out all the information that they needed for a simple overview of their park day. And this is what I would provide for like my guests coming with me to Walt Disney World. Some other tools that I have is my Magic Made Easy community. Like I said, this is going to be going through a major revamp in January of 2024. It's also on sale right now because this is around the Black Friday time if you're watching this. But basically, this includes webinars, a forum for you to ask questions. It's broken up into different guides and chapters that you'll have access to, like resorts and planning outlines and transportation. You won't feel lost. Then, obviously, my blog is a great place to be. I write really detailed blogs on information over Walt Disney World mostly, but we have been to Disneyland Paris and Disneyland, so you'll see some information on there as well, especially as this blog grows. And then, of course, we have the Magic Planning Guides, which are located under the Walt Disney World tab, and that is all of the different guides that I have available to you. And everything that's on this page is included in the Magic Made Easy course. So if you just wanted a resource all in one place, that's going to be the best place to go. So the next steps are follow me on all of my socials. I give a lot of good information on all of my platforms. Definitely register for the newsletter and check out Magic Made Easy in the Magic Planning Guides. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I do try to produce a YouTube video every couple of weeks. Have a magical day.